Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Kirk, in your testimony, you discussed the need to investigate fraud in the 8A program. And I agree. In fact, we should go after fraud by anyone and in all programs. So there you go. We agree on that. And we should investigate fraud again in all programs, including the 8A, but to allege widespread fraud in this program, which involves how many people are, how many companies, entities are in the 8A program?
Gosh, I apologize, Senator. I don't have that information.
Thousands.
It is thousands. Indeed,
Thousands.
I can assure you it is
And
thousands.
these are small businesses. And we have decided in this committee that we should be supportive of small businesses.
Absolutely.
And to work with them, but to come into the questions relating to this 8A program as with the idea that there's massive fraud that is inappropriate. So I just want to get your commitment that in your review of the 8A program that you maintain your independence from those within the administration, including the SBA leadership that considers the 8A program to be a fraud magnet, but you would be independent in your assessment of whether or not there is fraud in the 8A program.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I can absolutely assure you, I swore an oath to uphold the law, to act impartially, to act without regard to political partisanship, independently and objectively. That's an oath I take very seriously.
I'm glad that you're reiterating once again that the IG is really critical that you be independent. I have the questions that I asked you during your confirmation hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, one question I did ask you was whether the rule of law applied to the President of the United States. And you didn't answer that directly. I'm going to give you another chance to answer that question.
Sure, Senator. I'm happy to acknowledge that the rule of law applies to all citizens, all people in the United States, including the President of the United States.
Do you know that the President said that the rule of law he doesn't think the rule of law applies to him?
I'm not aware of that statement.
What if I were to tell you that that is his view of the rule of law is applying to him? He doesn't think the rule of law applies to him. He thinks that the Supreme Court has given him pretty much immunity from, although that decision was based on any criminal doings, I think he certainly applies it to the civil situation. So I have some concerns about your independence. I'm glad that you continue to affirm that you are going to be independent. Now, on the question of Planned Parenthood, receipt of PPP funds, once again, I believe that you're bringing up whether or not, or the SBA is bringing up whether or not the Planned Parenthood should have gotten this money. And your predecessor, IG, has said that it was done appropriately. Do you have any reason to suspect or disagree with your predecessor's assessment of whether Planned Parenthood had committed fraud?
Thank you, Senator. My understanding is that the SBA is conducting a review of the eligibility of many institutions and entities, including that one.
No, but your predecessor had already said that Planned Parenthood had complied with the requirements.
Thank you, Senator. I'm actually quite pleased that the agency is continuing to conduct reviews in all areas because the job of tackling fraud is shared between the agency and the IG, and this administration has made, the agency has made really very significant efforts since the beginning of last year to address fraud.
Hold on, I'm reclaiming my time. So that's great that, you know, the agency is being very objective and all of that, but this regime is not objective when it comes to the funding of Planned Parenthood. And in fact, it continues to beat the drum that somehow Planned Parenthood committed fraud or that it was inappropriate. Now, your predecessor, IG, has already reviewed. I mean, you must have enough other things to look at regarding fraud, but you're going to, once again, pursue the fraud with regard to PPP. So my question to you is, do you not accept your predecessor, IG's report, the assessment?
Thank you,
that
Senator.
Planned Parenthood had not committed fraud?
I understand the question.
Yes or no?
The SBA is conducting a new review, reviewing the eligibility of the affiliates, as I understand it. I am not involved in that review. Our office is not involved in that review. If they make referrals to the Inspector General's office, it is our responsibility under the law, and we abide by the law in all cases, to investigate those matters.
I have to tell you that this is very politically motivated, as you can imagine, and you must be aware that this regime, I call it a regime because of its authoritarianism, that this is a regime that has been calling to question funding for Planned Parenthood in many different ways, and certainly in this instance, you must be aware of that. So I'm just saying, this is yet another instance of politically motivated investigations. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator